Focus. Ideate. Innovate. Enable.
That was quick.
Yeah, Ma, don't worry. I'm driving on the new expressway and it's absolutely safe.
Hello and welcome to the second edition of PwC Presents The Winning Leap in association with CNBC TV18. This is a show where we take a look at how businesses create value, discuss the strategies and opportunities that are vital for their growth and the various challenges they face in India's economic environment. This week we take a look at what the government is doing to build and transform human capital and the role that industry and corporates play in ensuring quality and relevant education and training to their employees.
India is a country with a young population, yet only about 38% of her citizens make up the actual workforce. One of the biggest challenges the policymakers face is addressing the skills and employment issues in the country. Among many initiatives introduced by the current government, the setting up of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship is key to addressing issues like lack of aptitude-based assessments, setting up of adequate counseling services, and mapping skills to manage supply and demand of skilled talent.
To discuss some of these issues and more, I have with me Dr. Murthy K. Upaluri, Managing Director and CEO at Randstad, and Mr. Ashok Varma, Partner Social Sector at PwC India. Thanks very much, gentlemen, both of you.
Thank you
for coming in. If I can start with you, Mr. Varma, what can the government in terms of regulations do to ensure that the young population is adequately skilled?
Government has been doing quite a bit of initiatives in last 3-4 years, and if you look at from 2009 there was a national skill policy, and then recently the new government also has come up with a policy for new skill policy in 2015. All these policies are helping in terms of opening up the space for the private sector. The creation of National Skill Development Corporation, which is helping private sector to come into the training space, is something which is helping in terms of bringing a kind of expertise which is required in the skill sector, which was in past largely dominated by the government players when it came to the training. And the regulation front, I would say one more regulation which is required is in terms of the assessment and certification, which helps in creating an environment so that the employers could value the right kind of quality training which has been imparted to the students.
I do believe it's a close partnership that's required between the India Inc. and the government, or the public sector, if you will. I think in the face of the dynamic nature of the disruptive forces that are acting on the workforce, it's an imperative almost for these two to work hand in glove. What do I mean by that? There are a lot of fluctuations on the demand side, so it makes perfect sense to align the supply of skills or supply side strategies to align with the demand. So there are a lot of disruptive forces, I believe, that need to be attended to, and I think there's good work that's being done by the government, but I think it's not enough yet in terms of the potential that India has to offer, both to our own economy and also to the world economy.
We seem to be producing a lot of educated kids coming into the workforce. but not enough skills. In a way, does it also need to be made more aspirational, Mr. Varma?
So if you look at the current supply scenario in terms of students who come out from professional colleges, from graduate colleges, or even from vocational education institutions, so there is a huge gap when it comes to the curriculum which is being followed, whether it is market relevant curriculum. There has been some initiative which has been taken up by government as well. There is a setup which is now created for sector skill councils, and these sector skill councils are represented by the private corporates, and who in turn help create those kind of job roles, those kind of curriculum which is relevant in the context of current economy, and those are the training which is going to be imparted in future. So in future, this is something which is, I would say, work in progress at this point of time.
From an employer's perspective, if I can just get Dr. Upaluri in as well, is this helpful? I mean, how much does this help? The government getting involved in kind of, as Mr. Varma was saying, creating industry sector-specific.
It definitely helps, Prashant, but I do believe it should be led still by the employers or the people who really have the demand. So I think there's clearly a need for a blended curriculum, if I may call it, in terms of having both these skills-based or vocational training-based plus the theoretical or the conventional education. So there should be a good blend of those so that we are not surprised at the end of the continuum when people graduate out of the school or college that they do not have the so-called skills required or they're not employable. The responsibility that the employers can take is to create these apprenticeship or internship programs at the end of such programs. I see this working fabulously well in some of the developed countries. So the assistantships are given, the apprenticeships are happening, and internships happen, and it's a very well, seamlessly stitched, beautifully working model.
Mr. Varma, talking about the skills that are most in demand now, vocational courses, for example, which are they?
If you look at the vocational courses which are in demand today, are mostly the service sector related kind of courses. But I feel that when we talk about the kind of initiatives which the new government is now bringing in terms of Make in India, Digital India, and also startup, many of the manufacturing related skills are something which is not there today in the supply side in terms of investment which is being done on the training related to the manufacturing sector. That's where I think there is a need for more focus.
And it's argued that manufacturing is the only sort of sector which can absorb all these people, right? I mean, services can only do so much. You need a vibrant manufacturing sector to create jobs. I
think it's vibrant all across the 3 or 4 sectors. Agri is, under-invested in terms of technology and under-skilled, and manufacturing and infrastructure, if you will, has a serious deficit that is projected by 2022. There are some statistics available, and service more so. So I think it requires strategic planning and a diligent execution.
So from a government perspective, is that happening?
That is something which is not happening. When we talk about the apprenticeship, in fact, in the entire country, we only have 30,000 establishments which provide apprentices. In a population of such a 1.2 billion, we are talking about only 3 lakh apprentices annually being done. So this is something which has been looked at very focused manner by the government, and they have come up with a scheme which is called National Apprenticeship Promotion Scheme, in which they provide an incentive for every employer who takes an apprentice will be getting a 25% of the stipend which is paid to the apprentice as a cashback, or and any organization which is more than 40 workers or more than 40 workers needs to have apprentices. But this is not something which is being at this moment complied with or enforced.
But this is in fact law. I mean,
it's a law. It's a law which is not being complied and it's not being enforced.
I think if we believe, we meaning the India Inc., we believe that there is a skill gap and there is availability of talent that is unemployable. So this is a great medium to really engage with them, bring them on board, give them an exposure to the environment and the needs of the India Inc. and skill them. I think it's being done, but not enough.
Are regulations for skilling, Mr. Varma, all in place, or you think, I mean, we need more? I mean, maybe this made into a right.
So the right-based approach is not a solution to it. In fact, in India, there is only one state which has actually gone and had a right to skill, which is Chhattisgarh. But it definitely gives an, I would say, push to the agenda, when you talk about in the government setup?
Today, there is something about MOOC is a phenomenon, MOOC, massively open online courses. Basically, what it is saying is anybody who is interested in learning, the difference, if you have the ability to learn on your own, you can get on online and you can access the courses from MITs, Harvards, or you name it, from the reputed universities. So what we need to do, in my humble opinion, is we need to train our next generation of talent to learn on their own rather than being taught. So this is what we need to do. Take away the friction, leverage technology,
Use technology.
To accelerate this development and skill enablement.
Dr. Uppaluri, Mr. Varma, thank you very much, both of you, for joining in
Thank you
on
so
this
much.
interesting conversation. We have another interesting discussion on the other side. Stay tuned.